So before we go too far into this, we should probably take a quick look and see how many squares and triangles we need. And I'm just going to pop up this picture. I think you can see that the squares are a 4 by 4 grid, so that's 16. And I did go through quickly and count all of these triangles here, and you'll find that in total there's 36. So we'll need 36 equilateral triangles and 16 squares. Now we have some here. What I'm going to do is just sort of pause here for a moment because you don't have to see me move and copy all of these things. So in a moment we'll have the appropriate number of squares and triangles on the screen, and I'll be back in a moment. So we've got the appropriate number of squares and triangles now. We should probably start aligning them together, and keeping in mind, of course, that we have a particular picture that we want to follow here. So just to kind of remind ourselves here, I know I show this picture every once in a while. I should probably keep this close to our desktop here. You'll have a copy in the course if you want to follow along with this exactly. But we're going to start making our pattern looking like this. So I think the very first thing we're going to do is just create this sort of centerpiece out here. And you'll notice that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4 squared. 8 triangles, 4 squares. And we'll start that right now. So if we're going to be using the align tool, we should probably pick a spot where we can do our work and align so that we can kind of see properly. There we go. I'm not entirely sure why this does this, but every once in a while I find that we get stuck on a particular tool and I can't seem to get out of it for some reason. So there we go. I'm trying to align here here we go. Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to align the, there we go. Align our view a little bit so we can get some work done here. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm trying to sort of be able to look at the squares and triangles from the side, not because we need any particular view or anything like that. Just I want to be able to see mostly the tops of the squares and the rectangles, all right, or squares and triangles I should say, but I need to be able to see their faces a little bit. All right, so I need to be able to see this region right here, and I need to be zoomed in just enough to be able to see the face. Now that whole pivot thing that you just saw there, you have to put the cursor onto top and press the mouse button down, but don't let go. And you can just sort of sit there and rotate the mouse around, and it's pivoting about that green point there in the center of the screen. So first thing we're going to do now is we're going to click off of that, and we're going to go to our align tool to here, and we're going to be moving bodies, which is good. So we're going to move this triangle from here to here. All right, and then remember from previous puzzles that we now have to find this little flip button up here, and we'll see that the triangles have now flipped around. So when you do the aligning, they align on the wrong side of the face, so you have to flip the second one over. All right, so those are our 2 triangles put together, and just to remind you what we're doing, those 2 triangles there put together represent these ones. So now we have to put 4 squares around the outside and then fill in the gaps with triangles again. All right, and all I'm going to do is make this first initial piece. All right, and once I've done that, remembering the flip here, and we're probably going to just mouse this here so we can see things a bit. And if I need to change my view, I'm going to go to pivot. There we go, good. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm only going to build that centerpiece, I think, and once that's done, I'll leave you to finish the rest of that, because I think it would be a little bit arduous perhaps to sit and watch that whole video as things get put together, because I think everyone's pretty much going to understand here what what the process is. So once again, I'm just using my align tool here. Just because it's a little bit in the way here, I'm going to click on this triangle face, and I am going to zoom in here and click up, and hopefully, there we go, I can select this face. Excellent. And so we're going to put squares all the way around here. I need to select a square again. So we'll go from here all the way over to here. And now this will be the 4 squares that we just saw on the page. And we're now going to fill the gaps here in with triangles. So we're going to go back to our align tool, and we'll click on this face. Good. And because it disappeared, remember, click the flip tool. Oh, that didn't work out. I wonder what happened there. So we'll press undo, and we'll try that again. So we'll go to modify. And again, anytime you mess up on something, it's no big deal. All you have to do is make sure that you end up, there we go, pressing Command Z for the Apple laptops, and you'll end up getting everything aligned properly. So we'll click here for from, and here for to. All right, and hopefully, oh, I see. Yeah, something a bit funny is going on here. So let's make sure that we're doing this properly. So we'll again go into align, and we'll go from this body here to this body. Excellent. You kind of do have to pay attention to what's going on here, because just in case something funny happens, you want to make sure that you know what step to back up to. We're going to go from here to here, and we're going to go flip, and that works. And I'm just going to sort of rotate my point of view here from this side. And now we're going to put some triangles in right here. So we're going to click on here and to here, and from here to here. And then we'll have to use the flip tool. Oh, I see. Yeah, something does seem to be a bit strange about this. So perhaps what I should do is see whether or not we can look at this from the correct angle, just to make sure I can see what's going on here. I might just be doing something that causes the oh, there we go. I might just be doing something that's causing the tool to kind of mess up, because Fusion 360 is a rather complicated program, and so it's difficult. There we go. Just happened again. So let's see if we can't back up there and pay attention to what's happening. Because as I told you guys, there are still a few little tiny there we go. So I want that face, and I want to make sure that it's that face there. Perfect. Okay, I think I really just need to be a little bit more careful with my clicking here. All right. So this is the middle part of the tessellation that I've just created. This is this piece right here. And now I'm just going to fasten some squares and triangles around the outside, and hopefully we're done. So I'm just going to do this 1 or 2 more times, just to make sure that there's not something in that align tool that's unnecessarily confusing. So we're going to just go back to modify here and go to align. And okay, I think I see what the problem is. Okay, so when you're using the align tool, we want to make sure that we're selecting the exact center of the face so that you can see this symbol appear here. Okay, because we don't want to align the faces of 2 pieces and not connect them. We want to make sure that this point here is sitting and touching this point right here. Boom. And then it works. All right. See, I need to be a bit more precise with my clicking. Anyways, there's not much else to see here. So what I'm going to do is just cut the video off here, and we will we'll come back once I have everything aligned, and then we'll start making the base and the pieces and all of that sort of stuff for the puzzle. So let's just go back to our top view and just zoom out a touch so that we can kind of have perspective of what's going on here. And I will, there we go, press cancel, and I'll call an end to this video, and by the time we come back, we'll have all of these pieces put together in tessellation form. So as you can see, it took a little while. I found it a little complicated to assemble these squares and triangles together to form the same figure that you see in the picture. But you can see here that we've got our tessellation tiles all put together, and you can see the diagram that that's supposed to represent, so that looks pretty nice. So the next step, I suppose, is to just let's shrink this down instead of closing it. And let's now find out where we are on our screen here, because we're going to have to start playing around with things. So let's center things a little bit. I'm going to go to the Move menu here, and I'm going to select all of these bodies, like so, and I'm just going to move it over like that, and we're going to move it down. Right about here looks good. Oh, that's not exactly centered, you know. Maybe I'll move it just a touch up. There. Alright, we'll press OK. And you can see here that our pattern is definitely going to fit onto our square here. So just like we did before, I'm going to copy this and create a blank that I'm going to press into our tool. And once we've done that, I'm going to create our pieces. So I think this video might be getting a touch long here, so I think either I might take this piece and put it into a new video, or I am going to maybe graft this onto the end here. So we're going to create a copy. We're just going to move it over a touch like this. Alright, and there we go. We have two here. And then the last step here is we're just going to go to Combine quickly, and we want to join all of these little tiny pieces together to make the tool that's going to create the hole here. And so I'll just make this my target body, and then everything else here is going to be my tool. I'm just going to see whether or not I can select this. Oh, look, you can. That's awesome. So automatically I'm going to go and select these all together, and hopefully that works out. So we're going to join all these together, and that's my blank, and I'll press it into the base in the next video.